Jennifer Owen White, and I work for U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and I have the immense pleasure of being your National Wildlife Refuge Manager for the new Valle de Oro National Wildlife Refuge. Today, we're here at the beautiful Albuquerque Open Space Visitor Center, and we're here for a very special designation ceremony. This afternoon, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service will designate the Albuquerque area as a 2014-2015 Urban Migratory Bird Treaty City. Since the program began in 1999, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has been designating urban areas all across the United States as special places for migratory birds and the birding economy. To date, only 21 cities nationwide have received this prestigious designation. This year, both the cities of Albuquerque and Denver, Colorado will be receiving the designation along with a $100,000 grant to improve birding and bird habitats in the community. We've got lots of our great friends and partners here today to celebrate this great event. So let's go on in and check it out, meet some of these people who are working for birds and birding here in the Albuquerque area, and learn why our city is so special and really deserves this great designation. We're here now with Dr. Matt Schmader, who's the superintendent of the Albuquerque Open Space Properties or Open Space System. And Matt is the #1 partner, or the Open Space is the #1 partner in this urban bird treaty, and they're the ones actually receiving the grant. So the big question to you is, why does Albuquerque deserve this designation?
First of all, just Jennifer and Fish and Wildlife Service, thank you for the recognition and the honor. I think that Albuquerque rose to the top in the country because as a community we have been doing so much for so long to preserve natural lands in this metropolitan area. And as it turns out, where we are is so significant for migratory birds that we could hardly have failed as long as we saved land. So we've got the Rio Grande Flyway, we've got the major Intermountain Flyway, we've got all kinds of other migratory bird routes here. We have, of course, the Bosque, which is along the Rio Grande, foothills of the Sandias. There's just so much natural land that the community has worked together to save. So it ended up saving a great birding place.
Well, you and I have been working on this project close to a year now, trying to get all this together, get the grant in, pulling the partners together. What does it feel like now to be here today, ready to announce this designation?
It's almost an unreal feeling. You know, it's one of those things where we sat down and we said, well, is this possible? And then when it started looking like it was, oh my gosh, what if it happens? And all of the moving parts to make something great happen, and it's almost like waking up to a dream come true. So it's going to be a fabulous year. We're going to do so many great things for the community, for kids, for all of the people in the community, and all kinds of great events and nice improvements out on the lands. It's just going to be fabulous.
It's going to be really exciting.
It's going to be a great year.
It is.
When they come back in a year and check on what we did, they're going to be amazed.
They are.
Yes, they are.
Thank you for all of your hard work.
Thank you.
So now we're here with Laurel, and Laurel is involved in a little bit of everything that's going on today. She is a member of Central New Mexico Audubon. She's a member of the Friends of the Rio Grande Nature Center and a friend of Valle de Oro. So she's a really great friend to all of us, and Laurel is actually the one who designed our amazing Albuquerque Urban Bird Treaty logo. So we're going to start, Laurel. Can you tell us why you think Albuquerque deserves this designation?
Well, it just makes sense with all the incredible bird habitat and all of the great organizations working to do bird education and preserve bird habitat in the Albuquerque area. And just the range of habitats from the mountains to the river, it's just a great birding spot.
I think it does make perfect sense.
Yeah.
So tell us about this great logo that you designed and how it represents Albuquerque.
Well, I wanted to include the mountains are so distinctive with Sandias, and then we have the river running right through the heart of town with the beautiful bosque surrounding it, and so tried to include the mountains and the river, and the downtown skyline's fairly distinctive as well, and it represents both our town and also a hazard to birds with the window strikes and such. And so, and then the birds, the cranes are iconic here for almost half the year, and then some mountain birds, and also included one resident bird, not migratory, the great blue heron, greeting the migrants.
Oh, that's great. And we can see that the Urban Conservation Treaty for Migratory Birds is spelled along the top in English and
in Spanish as well, because it's a very multicultural city, and so we wanted to represent the Spanish speaking folks as well.
excellent. Well, it's beautiful.
So thank you.
We're here now with Terry, who is the president of the Friends of Valle de Oro National Wildlife Refuge. And Terry, my first question for you is, why do you think that the Albuquerque metropolitan area deserves this designation?
Well, one of the things that I have noticed living here all my life is that Albuquerque and the surrounding area, Bernalillo County, has a huge birding community. I live in the South Valley. I live right next to Valle de Oro National Wildlife Refuge, and I so enjoy seeing the cranes fly overhead and the geese come in. It's how I mark the seasons, actually. I know it's spring when they leave, I know it's fall when they come. So it's one of the things that makes this area very special.
Well, Friends of Valle de Oro are, of course, the nonprofit organization that supports our wonderful Valle de Oro National Wildlife Refuge, but you're also really involved in this urban bird treaty. So can you tell us more about what the Friends group is doing as part of this designation?
Yes, actually. Part of what we're doing is trying to get youth involved in recognizing urban birds and becoming aware of their value. We have been involved in starting a Young Birders Club. We've also been involved in educators events. We've been distributing information for educators so that they can bring their students out to the refuge to identify birds and get them excited about birding. We're also going to be providing money for some field trips to places like maybe Bosque del Apache, their Festival of the Cranes, so that the kids can learn about birds and their importance.
That's really exciting. Thanks for all your hard work.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Jennifer.
So we're here with Dave, who's on the board of the Friends of the Rio Grande Nature Center, who are also one of our major partners with the designation of Albuquerque as the Urban Migratory Bird Treaty City. So Dave, why do you think Albuquerque deserves this designation?
I think it deserves it because this area in the middle of the desert Southwest, with a beautiful riparian area that runs over many, many miles, and right in the middle of a large metropolitan area where there's many educational opportunities for children and youth, would make it probably an obvious spot in the West.
So the Friends of the Rio Grande Nature Center are really helping with the grant funding and spending the money through working on education programs, and it looks like you guys do a lot of kids activities. So can you tell us more about what the Friends of the Rio Grande Nature Center are doing as a part of this designation?
Well, the Rio Grande Nature Center is one of 30 some odd state parks, but it's the only one that's in an urban area that has many, many classes of school kids that come through daily, usually 60 or 70 per day when the weather's good, when school's in session. And so we have a large number of volunteers, 100 and some odd volunteers, who almost all do educational outreach. Take trunks. We have a bird trunk with us today with various parts of birds for kids to look at. We have volunteers that take them to classes. And we give bird walks twice a weekend, and we do 3 fairly large festivals a year, 2 of which are specifically devoted to birds, 1 of which also includes plants. But in general, it's basically an educational operation to train adults, but we really like to emphasize children.
And so as part of this designation, you're going to be continuing all of your great work and
Continuing and expanding the roles. One of the things we've been doing recently is increasing signage around the park. I know that I, for one, insisted on having all the plants in the garden labeled so I would know what they are. I know what the birds are, but not what the plants are. So things like that we try to improve every year. And we're going to use some of the money from the grant to expand some of the operations we haven't done in the past. Some that we do, some we'll just do more, and some things will be new. So that after the grant, we'll be doing more than we were before.
great. Thanks. We're here with Steve, who's on the board of the Open Space Alliance, and the Open Space Alliance is an organization that supports Albuquerque's amazing open space properties. So, Steve, why do you think that Albuquerque deserves this designation?
Well, Albuquerque, as you probably know, is situated along the Rio Grande, which is a major part of the north-south flyway between the Bosque del Apache and points north. So Albuquerque not only already has that designation and that amenity, but now we've got the Valle de Oro that you're familiar with, that is going to even enhance the availability of resources for birds passing through on migration. So couldn't think of a better town.
So it's kind of like the birds already knew it, they were just waiting for us to catch up?
Pretty much, that's what I would say, yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us about what the Open Space Alliance is doing as a part of this designation?
Okay, so the Open Space Alliance is working with a number of other agencies here in the Middle Rio Grande watershed, flyway, if you will. And what we've done is put together a series of geocaches called the Berkey Birding Geoflight. And our hope with that set of geocaches is to familiarize the geocaching community with birding, and familiarize the birding community with geocaching, and in the process bring in all kinds of new interest to the Middle Rio Grande, not only around birding in honor of the Migratory Bird Treaty, but as well as bring people out to open spaces that they may not have visited. I can say that we've already had 30 visitors to our geocache series, and a number of them have made the comment in their log online that, hey, this is a place I've never been, thanks for bringing me here. So it seems to be working out great.
I'm here with Sarah Jane. She's with Central New Mexico Audubon Society, and she's the lead for their Cats Indoors program. And the Cats Indoors program is another big partner in this urban conservation treaty for migratory birds. So, Sarah Jane, my first question for you is, why do you think Albuquerque deserves this designation?
Well, Albuquerque is a wonderful place for to retire because of has so much natural environment right here in the city. Albuquerque has a beautiful open space program, and along with the trails through the city.
So you think it really appeals to people of all ages?
Oh, definitely. It's very, very appealing because it's also educational and recreational
Great.
as well.
So you're heading up the Cats Indoors program, and you guys are doing lots of different things as part of this bird treaty and with the funding. Can you tell us more about what you're doing?
Well, mostly we like to reach out to cat owners because we feel like to address the cat overpopulation, we have to teach people the correct way, responsible way to care for their cats.
And what do you have here?
We have cat mannequins that we like to have and the kids really love these because then we can show them that they need to brush their cat, or that what kind of harness they can use if they want to have a safe outdoor experience for their cat and put it on a leash. And we like to give them solutions to, instead of just saying, don't do this, we like to give them solutions to how they can let their cat have that experience.
And the big message is that we want to keep cats indoors for the safety of our cats and the safety of our wildlife and our birds, right?
Exactly.
Now, you guys are also working on a couple other things for reducing hazards to birds. What else are
Right.
you thinking about?
We're also doing window strikes, and this is often people do find a dead bird outside their house, and they realize that it struck the window, and we're showing them different methods to use so that they can prevent these reflections of the sky and the bird won't crash into the window, thinking they can just keep flying.
Yeah, and as an urban area, we've got an issue with downtown and our big businesses.
Yes, and that's the other initiative we're doing is the Lights Out campaign. And we're going to be asking the big businesses with the tall buildings to have lights out during spring and fall migrations, just from dusk to dawn. And this, because it's amazing how many birds migrate at night, and this confuses them because they like to follow the stars type of thing. So it's very important to not have those lights during that time.
So we're here now with Raymond, who's the president of the Central New Mexico Audubon. And Central New Mexico Audubon is one of our biggest partners in the designation of Albuquerque as the Urban Migratory Bird Treaty City. So, Raymond, why do you think Albuquerque deserves this designation?
I think that probably one of the most important reasons that Albuquerque deserves this designation is because of the amount of money that bird watching and birding tourism brings into our local economy.
So tell us more about that. How does birding really affect our New Mexico economy?
What a lot of people probably don't realize is that bird watching and birding is one of the fastest growing and most popular hobbies in the United States. And New Mexico being situated where we are in the southwest, with Mexico to the south, the Great Plains to the east, the Chihuahuan and Sonoran Desert to the west, and the Rocky Mountains to the north, we have documented over 500 species of birds in the state. And so this is really a birding mecca, and people flock from all over the country to come here and enjoy our birds. And in fact, every year, birding brings in $500 million to the New Mexico economy, people visiting our state parks, our natural areas, national wildlife refuges. So it's really just a treasure.